Okay. Now that kind of reminds me, I don't know if we already addressed this, because one of the things we had discussed outside of like today's like interview was, or discussion, I don't want to call interviews like so strict, but psychographic versus demographic. And I know that we talked about packaging things neatly. There's just a lot of tastes out there. What do you think would be like a strategic way to actually target more behavior or patterns versus, I don't know, someone's location?
Yeah,
right?
so I think brands should forget demographics altogether. I think it's the most outrageous, bizarre thing in the world.
Really?
I saw a SaaS brand on LinkedIn, and it wasn't the social media manager's fault. They're told what to post, but it was this stupid post about the best times to post on Instagram.
Oh, I hate those.
I mean, for who? Is your audience only in this one city in the world? Like, that's
I don't find it works at all.
Of course it doesn't work, because we live in a global village.
Yeah.
Because you move somewhere slightly, you move somewhere else and the times are different. Like, that just doesn't exist. Like, so, but all these ideas, these regiments of what you need to do are to keep us stuck in a hamster wheel of spinning our wheels and not actually stopping and listening
it,
and thinking and going, where is this assumption from?
Yeah.
We just accept that that's what it is, but you got to challenge the assumption. And the way to challenge the assumption is to look at the data. But not the data of demographics. What does that even mean? But to look at psychographics. How do people feel? What do they think? And you can do that on social media, because every single day they're telling you about what they engage in. So that's where you want to look at. What are they saving, sharing, commenting on, liking? Not how much did the ad spend get you reach? Because that, like, I remember saying this to a client I had, Kraft Heinz, back in South Africa. They had an advertising agency and they said, oh, we got, 3,000 people, big reach. But if 3 people engaged, you paid to be ignored.
Yeah,
you did not, that was not a success. That was a failure. That was an epic failure. And so it's just to change our measures. And I think when it comes to demographics and psychographics, we are living in a different time now. We live in a gender fluid world. So even breaking people into the binaries of male and female isn't going to work anymore.
So old school,
Breaking people into age demographics of like, oh, you're this. I mean, I always think of that. I'm like, if I had to be pitched to as a 41-year-old South African woman, what even is that? Like, my country has 12 official languages. Like, the spectrum of 41-year-old South Africans is so different. Yeah. And at the moment, I'm like relating far more toward like 12-year-old gamer boys, who are into rats and horror, than I'm relating to what it means to be a 41-year-old.
You should technically, Yeah, like whatever it means.
What do these things even mean?
Yeah.
We all go through different phases and stages. That's why going to what people love is a transcendent, easy anchor, instead of trying to limit someone into their age or their location, especially when most of us move around and we're immigrants and we travel. There's a huge rise of digital nomads, or travelers. Like, I'm like a traveler, so I'm living here and there and there. So how would I be marketed to? But the reason we have these ideas about marketing is because it's easier to sell people. So we make these things because it's easy to sell solutions to things we don't actually need. So this idea is created that this is the problem, you need demographics as the answer, but there was never a problem. If you just speak to what people love, you would wipe out all the need for all these complicated boxes. So
that frankly tell you nothing.
They tell you nothing. So I think the minute people just pause and go, who told me this? Is this even true? Is there another way? Is there a human way? We're going to be able to get back to actually what makes humans do what they do. And those fundamental truths link back right to Shakespeare times. Like, we haven't changed that much,
We're still pretty, like, I don't know. What would you say matters then at the time of determining, like, what's actually working? You're reaching the right people. And maybe you've already shared that, but if not, then apologies.
Yeah, no, I think the best thing a brand can look for is the reach to reaction metric. So how many people have you reached, and then look at the percentage of how many people have actually interacted, commented, saved, shared, or liked. Because there can be a big disparity between that, because it's often falsified by paying for boosting, paying for reach. So when I'm running an audit on an account and I'll notice that one post has like 25,000 likes or views or whatever compared to something which the next top post is like 8,000, that's often a boosted post. So then you want to look at that reaction metric in between to go, okay, but is this post actually more popular than this one? Or if only
those
500
numbers can be misleading.
Totally, yeah. You've got to look at like, okay, 500 people only saw this, but 400 commented. That's a way more powerful post than the other one.
Yeah.
So that's where it gets really interesting. That's what your audience wants. That's what's to lean in toward.
What do you think of paid marketing in general? Like, is paid still going to be relevant?
I don't like it.
Yeah. That's okay too.
Yeah, I'm anti-paid marketing. I've had every time I've done it with Meta, I think it's a total fail. And also, and I'm sure a lot of brands do know this, but what Meta tells you is happening is not what's actually happening.
Interesting.
So I've measured that with a few brands when I've paid for a certain demographic because you have to.
Yeah.
And then what I'll get is something entirely different.
Because organically, that's just the result that pulls up, even if you boost a certain post.
Because they have bots and things working on their behalf, and it just gets sent to the wrong people. So you may pay for only women at a certain age, and then you only get old, creepy men saying terrible things. But and they're not your audience either. So it's like, how are they even seeing this? And when you show that data to Meta, they just say, no, it's because of something. But it all makes no sense. I think the best thing a brand can do is to cultivate a community. And the more that they do that, especially offline, is actually better. But having that core community and letting that expand is way better than spending a ton on reaching or boosting a post. Take that money and buy people in your local area coffee and let them fall in love with your brand than doing something that just gets vanity metrics.
A bit of a money pit, depending on the kind of... I'm sure there are paid campaigns that are very, very clever, but I was curious because I've worked with people in paid and other companies before this one, and I never understood what the hell they did, and their copy was always different from the one that we would try and push organically. So it's just a curious space for me, especially in the future when people don't really... Well, budget could be a different topic we could discuss here now, is how much do you think resources should be allocated if you're getting really useless data in the end of, despite having paid money for a good campaign, well, you thought it was good, but the results are really skewed. So what do you think would be a sensible approach to resource allocation?
I think, again, it's challenge your assumption. Do you even need social media? Do you need to do ad spend? Or I would say that where we're going from online community management is more having an internal person who manages community or cultivates community one-to-one and in real life. So SoulCycle, what was working best on their audit of social media was all their posts that spoke about getting offline.
Ooh.
No phones in class. Turn off your phone. Be kind to the people in reception. Here's how to have etiquette when you're in a SoulCycle environment. It was all in-person based. Mm-hmm. The strongest campaign that I think that they should do is wipe out their social media and simply have their bio update as something like, get off your phone, get into class, book here.
Oh.
Now that becomes a press story, it's taking a stand, it's showing their values, and they're saving all that money on social media and reallocating that somewhere else, potentially to something focused on community. Mm. Sometimes what your social media is telling you is that you don't need more social media, you don't need any. So either you can repurpose your budget or reallocate when you see, oh, this style is working, this content is working, I can repurpose this, stop all of that. Or what you may discover is, my audience is only really interested in things that happen in real life. Yeah. So how do I just meet them there?
Thanks for sticking with us till the end. So, what did you think? If you found this video useful, why not give us a like? Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more content like this. See you next time.